Our brave heroes and heroines here in Washington, D.C. have once again filled us with pride. While so many of you are forced out onto the front lines of this crisis, working, doing your job to keep the society going, they have other ideas. Let's throw this up on the screen. Okay, so already, unconscionably, they were not here in D.C. And now, Majority Leader Hoyer says he consulted with the attending physician for Congress, and the House is not going to come back next week. The Senate is set to return to Washington on Monday. But let's not forget, Saagar, not only are they not going to be here, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has decided to nix remote voting, so they can't do anything.
They literally can't do anything. All of this while NPR Marist polls, as I was just looking at this, 50% of Americans say they or someone in their household has lost work hours or a job, up from 18% a month ago. So while all of you are either out of work or know somebody out of work or had their hours cut, while what we're just talking about with Krystal's radar, while all of these meat processing workers are being forced to go to work or will be considered voluntarily quit and unable to file for unemployment if they feel sick, Congress gets to stay home, working from home, doing nothing, literally. Even when they're home, they do fake constituent services. But this time around, they're not doing anything. They're literally sitting at home, not voting, not crafting legislation. The Senate is coming back, and they're like, look, we're old. Like, we could all be at risk. Okay, yeah, so are meat workers.
Yeah.
So are a lot of people. There's people at my grocery store. There's some old people who work there. They're at risk. They have face shields on.
MTA.
Get over it. I mean, I'm sorry. You think Congress, the people who are supposed to be allocating the money and money to 330 million Americans, so many of whom are at risk or being forced to go to work or down on their luck for the first time in many, many years, is not coming to work because they are not considering themselves an essential service. It's a complete disgrace.
This is something that Stoller highlighted so early on, that the decision to not have remote voting is all about Pelosi and leadership maintaining their grip on power.
Exactly.
Because if you have to be here, then you have to be subject to all the pressure, and they get to control the entire process. If you are at home and you're able to remote vote, well, it's harder to keep all of the cats in alignment then, so to speak. So that's what this is really all about. Otherwise, it's insane that you don't have remote voting. It's absolutely insane. And remember, the original statement of why they weren't coming back until May was absent in emergency.
Right.
What do you think we're living in? What is this? It's not an emergency.
50% of Americans have lost hours or have lost their job. 26 million unemployed. GDP shrank by 5% this quarter, and it'll shrink by another 35%. Millions more additional unemployment claims that are expected tomorrow. Sounds like an emergency to me, but they're not here. They're not doing anything. By the way, the Senate is coming. The Senate is still coming.
By the way, this is one of the few areas where I have seen some real dissension in the ranks.
Yes.
Normally, everyone sort of toes the line where Pelosi, Mama Bear is concerned. But when I interviewed Ro Khanna on this show, he described not having remote voting as an abdication of responsibility, which is pretty strong language. Congresswoman Katie Porter also has been very critical and outspoken on this. So it'll be interesting to see if you see more of that dissension starting to bubble up from the ranks on the progressive side in particular.
I want to see it from every side, which is, I guess the Republicans have no power here. So whatever you can do.
Well, Kevin McCarthy was part, apparently, of talking Pelosi into not doing remote voting.
Well,
so
there you go.
Everybody's culpable. Don't worry.
All right. Everybody's great. It's all good.
It's all good. More rising for you after this.